Hey everyone, today we're gonna do the Canadian Computer Computation Test year 2018 Junior Problems, problem J3. Are we there yet? Let's read the problem first. You decide to go for a very long drive on a very straight road. Along this road there are 5 cities. As you travel, you record the distance between each pair of consecutive cities. You would like to calculate a distance table that indicates the distance between any two of the cities you have encountered. So we have a very straight road, and on this road there are 5 cities, and we know the distance between any two cities next to each other. And what we need to do is to get a distance table for the distance between any two cities. And these two cities can be the same one. Another input specification, so we have a line of input which contains 4 positive integers, and that's the distances between the consecutive pairs of consecutive cities. So that's basically we have the distance number of we have the distance number between city 1 and city 2, and the distance between city 2 and city 3, and also between city 3 and city 4, and so on. So the number I is the distance between city I and city I plus 1. And in the output specification, we have 5 lines, and on each line we have 5 numbers. So basically we are building a 5 by 5 matrix, and that's a map of the distance numbers between any two cities. And let's see the sample. We have the sample input, 4 integers, 3, 10, 12, 5, and we have the output, and that's a matrix of 5 by 5. So totally we have 25 numbers. And the first number is 0, that is the distance from city 1 to city 1. And the second number is 3, that's the distance from city 1 to city 2. And number 13, that's the sum of 3 and 10, and that's the distance between city 1 and city 3, and so on. The second line is the distance numbers of city 2 to all the cities. You can see the second number is 0 because that's the distance from city 2 to city 2. And now let's analyze this problem. So we use a straight line for the road, and on this road we have 5 cities. We use a blue line for each city, and here we have C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and we know the distance between any two cities next to each other. So we have distance D1 for the distance between C1 and C2, and D2 is for the distance between C2 and C3, and D3 is for the distance between C3 and C4, and D4 that's for the distance between C4 and C5. And what we need to calculate is the distance from one city to all the cities. Let's say for C1, we need to calculate the distance from C1 to C1, and C1 to C2, and C1 to C3, C1 to C4, and at last C1 to C5. And for city 2, as you can see in the green lines, we need to know the distance from C2 to C1, C2 to itself, and then C2 to C3, C2 to C4, and C2 to C5. So we can use the distance numbers to calculate the distance table, but an easier way would be to set the locations for each city. If we know the location of each city, then the distance between any two cities is just an easy formula. If the location of the first city is 0, then the location for the second city, as we know the distance is D1, so the location for the second city is 0 plus D1, and then for the third city is 0 plus D1 and plus D2. And the fourth city, C4, the location would be the location of C3 plus an extra D3. And for C5, the location is the location of C4 plus D4. It doesn't matter what number you use. For the location of C1, you can use 10, 100, or 10,000. It doesn't matter. Just make sure the distance is there between the cities. Then the calculation result will be same. Now we understand the problem. Then we need to check what is to be done in the program. So in the program, the input is 4 numbers for the distance between any consecutive city pairs, and we can use an array for it. And then in the data process, we need to know the city locations, and we can use another array for the city locations. Then we need to calculate the distance between any two cities. So what we need to do for the distance table is loop through all the cities, and for each city in the loop, we need to loop through the cities again, and then calculate the distance. And then in the output, we need to print the distance number between any two cities. And now we know what we need to do in the program, and now let's see how we should code it in Java. And this is a Java program, and first we need to declare the array for the distance, and we know it has 4 integers, and we need to declare an array for the location of each city, and we have 5 cities, so we should have 5 location numbers. And now let's do the input, and we use the scanner class on the system input stream. Then we need to read in the numbers, and there are 4 numbers, so we need to loop from 0 to 4, and here we need to read in each number. And now we have the distance numbers, the 4 distance numbers between any consecutive city pairs, and then we need to build the locations for cities. As we know, the location for the first city is 0, and then we should loop through the cities from city 2 to the last city, and do the calculation. So for each city, the location is the location of the previous city plus the distance of the previous city to the current city. So here we have the location for each city built, and now we need to calculate the distance table. And here we need to loop through the cities. And inside the loop for each city, we need to loop through the cities a second time. And now we have the city pairs, and we need to calculate the distance between this pair of cities. And here, depend on the location of Cj and Ci, in which one is bigger, the result can be a negative number, and if it is a negative number, we should change it to positive. So we check whether r is less than 0. If it is, we change it. And now we have the distance number, and we need to print it out. Don't print a line, because if you did that, you would have each number in a separate line, which is not the result. We need a 5 by 5 matrix, and we also need a space as a separator. After this, we got the result for one city, and that is one line of distance numbers, and we need to print a new line here. Just print a line, and then in the next loop we'll calculate the line of distance numbers for the next city. And after this loop, all the numbers are print out, and you get the 5 by 5 matrix, which is the distance table. Now let's run this program, and we have the sample input. We can try it here. So 10, so 3, 10, 12, 5. Press enter, and we get the distance table here, which is 0, 3, 13, 25, 30, and you can see each number is exactly the one from the sample output. So which means our code is running correctly, and we get the right result. Okay, so this is the code for problem J3. I hope you guys like this video. Please sum up. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will have more videos soon.